This is Red Essay, Dispositions of an Urban Cherokee. My name is Brandon Caruso. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and this episode of Red Essay is called The Tragic Tale of Karen Dalton. Today's episode of Red Essay is a special one for me. I've been listening to this artist for about 6 months. She's been around for quite some time. She came around in the 60s. She played with Bob Dylan, a number of great artists. She wasn't a singer-songwriter. She didn't write her own songs. But she was an amazing folk artist. She had this soulful voice, truly unforgettable. And I'm really happy to be able to share it. I've been kind of keeping it to myself, selfishly, and just enjoying as much as I can. And it's been really exciting to be able to come up with this series of blogs. And this has been truly a gem that I'm able to put out there. And hopefully, it's going to land on some new ears. I know she's not as popular. She's getting more popular. And unfortunately, it's quite some time after her death. She's a Cherokee, so glad to have one of my own. And she's just a beautiful through and through singer and folk artist. This first recording is called Reason to Believe. Enjoy.
If I listen long enough to you, I'd find a way to believe that it's all true. Knowing that you lied straight-faced while I cried, still I look to find a reason to believe. If I gave you time to change my mind, I'd find a way to leave the past behind. Knowing that you lied straight-faced while I cried, still I'll look to find a reason to believe. Someone like you makes it hard to live without somebody else. Someone like you makes it easy to give, never thinking of myself. If I listen long enough to you, I'd find a way to believe that it's all true. Knowing that you lied straight-faced while I cried, still I'll look to find a reason to believe.
She's been described as the best singer you've never heard of. Cherokee singer Karen Dalton was 55 years old when she passed away on the streets of New York. She was homeless, penniless, addicted to drugs. She lived a life of a genuine folk singer, not one whom enjoyed the success of fame or fortune, but history of struggle, conflict, and drug addiction. Dalton was 19 years old when she moved to New York City. Born and raised in Oklahoma, she fled her marriage to join the music scene in Greenwich Village. In the early 60s, Dalton would be found playing in small, pass-the-hat clubs such as Cafe Wha with the likes of Fred Neil, Richard Tucker, and Bob Dylan. Dalton was young, well-read, and at 21 had gone through enough turmoil for 2 lifetimes. She had been through 2 divorces, addicted to drugs, but she knew what she wanted her music to sound like, and her strong personality promoted little compromise when it came to recording in the studio. Her first album, recorded by Nick Venet, was never Dalton's intent to be released, and it's mostly a compilation of one-shot takes with the record button secretly on while Dalton performed for Venet after a studio session by Fred Neil.
When I go to Baltimore, need no carpet on my floor. Get your coat and follow me. I know man Galilee. Green, green, rocky road, promenading green. Tell me who you love, tell me who you love. Who do you love? Ooka-dooka soda cracker, does your father chew tobacco? If your father chews tobacco, ooka-dooka soda cracker. Green, green, rocky road, promenading green. Tell me who do you love? Tell me who you love. Who do you love?
It took Dalton 10 years to record an album on her own terms, set up by Bob Dylan's manager Albert Grossman, and produced by Harvey Brooks. Dalton went into Beersville Studio in Woodstock, New York with high hopes to achieve a successful folk record. And at a time when the public's ear was dominated by singer-songwriters and folk pop artists like Pete Seeger and Joan Baez, Karen Dalton's work didn't fit in with what was popular, so it left her debut album, In My Own Time, a commercial failure and a crushing blow to Dalton's career. Although she was tagged as folk music's response to Billie Holiday, Karen's bluesy, soulful voice and self-destructive lifestyle did not fit in with the type of success that was obtained by the straight, cleaned-up artist of the folk music world. Unlike the close friends and fellow musicians whom often accompanied her, she could not continue in her success, and her undependability and addictions left recovering from early failures not an option. As Dalton grew older, her health diminished, as did her relationship with her family. And by the early 90s, Dalton was living on the streets of New York, going in and out of rehab. But there was an attempt at returning to the studio made by close friends of Dalton. Dalton's guitars, her belongings, and even her pet were returned to her, along with plans for studio sessions to once again record her soul-filled voice. But unfortunately, Dalton returned to the streets shortly after a rehab session in '92 without ever returning to the studio, and shortly after she passed away in New York City. And she was only 55 years old. Close friend and country singer Lacey J. Dalton describes Karen as having true greatness that had not been recognized. I said to her, "It's going to annoy the hell out of you, but you'll probably only get recognized after your death." And I think the time is coming now, because people are fed up of slick, overproduced voices, and this old world is not a child anymore. We need the truth, and it doesn't need to be in words, it needs to be in delivery. Karen Dalton has 2 studio albums, It's So Hard to Tell Who's Going to Love You the Best in 1969 and In My Own Time, 1971. Delmore Recordings released a live show from '62 titled Cotton Eye Joe in '07, as well as Green Rocky Road in '08. A collection of Dalton's 1963 home recordings were released recently in 2012 titled 1966. And that had previously unreleased recordings made in and around Dalton's Colorado cabin. And I'm going to close you out with a recording by Karen Dalton, and this one's called Are You Leaving for the Country?
Are you leaving for the country? You say the city brings you down. Leave the iron clown behind and feel the circus moving on. Are you leaving for the country? I know sleeping in the road, and the flagpole's falling down. Fine vines hold the wheel in time, spread their weight and let the planet spin. Do you feel like something's not real? Let the spirit move you again. Are you leaving for the country? Not real. Let the spirit move you again. Are you leaving for the country? You say the city brings you down. Leave the iron clown behind and feel the circus moving on.
Thank you for listening. This is Red Essay, Dispositions of an Urban Cherokee. My name is Brandon Caruso. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and this episode of Red Essay was called The Tragic Tale of Karen Dalton. Thank you.